And welcome everybody to the Formula One World Championship Round 16, Qatar, or as some people like to say, Qatar, or as other people say, Qatar. We don't know where it is. I've never heard of it before. I can't remember where it is. It's somewhere out there in the desert, I'm told. Mainly because most of the drivers were really suffering. I think some of them lost kilos and kilos of weight. That's what the rumor was. And some of them barely made it. Some of them didn't make it. But we'll get to that in our special section, reportage en Saint Laurent. So we'll get to that. We'll get to that. We'll leave that for you, Lucky. I'm joined as always by the fantastic, fabulous, welcome, That's it.
Oh, no, that's it. Okay,
I'm not even going to say the rest of it.
Yeah, I know. Yeah. Hey.
And also, we'll welcome Lucky and not an expert. And he is lucky he's not an expert because the way he talks, he's easily confused for one. Welcome, Lucky.
Bonjour, monsieur.
Bonjour, mon ami.
So,
I promised
do you know?
a reportage de Le Sage later on in the show.
Thank you. You're actually clicking up. Are you clicking up for? Yeah, you're clicking up for Fabio as well.
Yeah.
For some reason, don't know why. Do you want to just now your graphics are working? Do you want to just leave and rejoin?
I may have to die. Let me just die and I'll come back. Okay.
Okay. We'll see you soon.
Thank you.
We'll look forward to it. Thank you. Okay. So welcome, as I said, to everybody. Who's here, Bub? Welcome, Bub. The intro is genius. Thank you very much, Bub. Let me know. Unfortunately, my computer skills are not. Let's go. Fabio says, welcome, of course. The intro is genius. Thank you, Bub. Good to see you here. We had a lot going on. And I'm going to leave the sprint race for Fabio to talk about because I found the sprint race just too traumatic as a Williams fan. So I'm going to leave that just to you because what can I say about it? Other than I will say this, and it's spoiler alert for those that haven't seen it, Max Verstappen didn't win a race.
Yeah.
Max Verstappen, I'm going to repeat it because it's only going to happen once this year. Max Verstappen did not win a race.
It's already happened twice.
Has it? What was the other one that he didn't win? Oh, yeah, Singapore.
Yeah.
Of course, Singapore. Who won Singapore? I can't remember now.
Sainz, I think.
It's Carlos Sainz. What happened to Sainz this race? I didn't see him. He was, but apparently he got caught. He got caught with a young man, and the Qatari police took him off. Is that right?
I mean, it's a little bit more complicated than that, and it's tied to a lot of things which has happened in the weekend. But
he got a blockage in his pipe.
Well, the sprint race, I mean, I don't know what I can say. 100 kilometers, really exciting. I think they should make, instead of a race, they should make like 5 sprint races in the weekend. Although the one on Sunday was actually kind of a sprint race. I mean, there was because of the tire thing that I'm sure you're going to talk about it.
You're spoiling.
I mean, it was basically a race the way they used to be. You know, nobody was caring about, there was little care about tire management, and it was basically 56 laps, 52, 56 full qualifying. So it was fucking brilliant. But I mean, the sprint race, of course, I will cut to the chase. Oscar Piastri won the race. Brilliant driver. Just remember that guy. I think that was his 14th race in F1. This is how good that guy is.
That is amazing.
There is another thing which I want to point out, and I will not talk about the sprint race, as a whole. even though it was quite
Yeah. Go.
interesting.
You
But
may as well, because like you may as well do it
no, I
before
mean,
the main
I
race.
won't,
So go
because
ahead.
I don't fucking remember it. That's why
Oh,
I
okay.
won't. But I was trying to find a good excuse to make it brief. The other interesting thing was that Lando Norris didn't win the race, although he got what he got,
Third.
second, third,
Third.
yeah.
Yeah.
Third, yeah.
And the other super interesting thing is that even if McLaren seems to be, I mean, McLaren is in a good trajectory. We were talking about before the show with Andrea Stella, being the chief engineer, was making a hell cracking job on that car. Norris, I think, is a little bit, well, I wouldn't say worried, but he's seeing ghosts of his past.
Yeah.
I mean, remember, he started McLaren and he basically, he didn't, he never got along with Ricciardo, so was very happy when he annihilated him. And now there is another Australian, which seems to be that is going faster than the guy, is only had 14 races, and his team manager is another Australian. So he was happy to having,
Yeah.
taken down an Australian, but it seems to me that Australia is coming back with a vengeance on Lando Norris. So yeah, it was that.
Yeah. He was, of course, when he first joined the team, the Wunder Kid.
Hmm.
I
Yeah,
say that.
yeah,
I say that advisedly. But now, of course, there's a new Wunder Kid who is
yeah.
who's pretty wonderful.
It's pretty
So
wonderful. Yes.
yeah,
Yeah,
his stash wonderful.
yeah.
Or as Ali G would say, as Bruno, I love Romans. Okay, so that was the sprint race. Basically,
Yes.
not a lot else happened. Perez, how did Perez do in the sprint race? Does anybody know? Anybody remember
Uh,
seeing Perez go by at all?
has anybody seen Parrots in the weekend?
I'm not sure we
Who are
did.
you talking about?
Because
Um,
okay, here's a fun thing. I remember Bottas being in the race. I have no idea what happened to Perez.
there's
I
only one.
remember I
Yeah,
saw Tsunoda in the race.
Tsunoda a couple of
Uh,
times. Yeah,
I also saw Stroll in the race for some other reasons. Was very pissed with every fucking body after the qualifying. He
yeah,
hit his. I mean I can also remember Serjan, which I mean he just gave up physically. So I remember a lot of
yeah.
drivers. I can't
I
really
I
remember
remember Perez
Perez.
for the race.
Mm,
I think
He was
Perez
trying to
gave
work
up
out.
quickly.
He was trying to work out the track limits, and he was
yeah,
doing it in a
yeah,
very mathematical and methodological
yeah.
way that meant he was never going to make a mistake.
He
So there
was,
was that.
yeah, he was dealing with the Riemann Z function, but it didn't work very well for
Yeah,
him.
that's right.
Yeah,
Just trying to work out limits, and there we
yeah,
go.
yeah.
And he's obviously a hell of a mathematician
Hmm.
because he got 10. That was his answer, apparently 10.
Yeah, yeah.
And two small ones he had. So we're going to call him Penalty Perez. This go. That's how I'm going to refer to him.
Hmm.
Penalty Perez, or as we say, too small PP.
Yeah.
Okay, so that's what we're going to be calling him in this particular episode.
Hmm.
Okay, look, before we get onto it, the race. Let's just talk about the race.
Hmm.
Max Verstappen, uh, first place in qualifying for the race. Tremendous, tremendous. Second place, Russell. Tremendous. Really putting one over on his teammate again,
Hmm.
who was in third place. And fourth place, Alonso. Fifth place, Leclerc.
Yeah,
Then there was a McLaren in sixth place,
yeah. I think.
presumably Piastri.
Yeah.
Then maybe two Alpines. Don't know what they're called, who the drivers are. Just hee and hee
Gasly
hee.
not
And
That's all I know can remember.
there was Bottas eighth.
Was it Bottas? Eighth?
Bottas was eighth.
No,
Yeah.
Bottas was ninth.
Okay.
Nine. Oh,
Okay.
okay.
Bottas was ninth. Yeah, I'd say ninth with Lando probably 10th. Yeah. Okay, so that was roughly the order they lined up on. And it was significant in this case because A, Verstappen was in first place. He smashed he smashed the rest of the field in qualifying. Absolutely just put his foot down. It was like he was driving in a different formula. But there we are. That's what happened. Second place, Russell. Really good drive. They obviously piled on the downforce, and he made the most of it. Third place, Hamilton. And this is where it got interesting because Russell on yellow tyres,
Hmm.
and Hamilton on red tyres. Now, you would think that they would talk about this before the race and say, look, Hamilton, he's on the faster tyre, let him go at the beginning, right? Maybe he can get past Verstappen because he's on a different tyre. Hold him up for you, and then hopefully you've got a chance to win the race. Obviously, Mercedes did not talk to their drivers before going into turn one because in turn one, Hamilton decided to go round the outside of Russell, who was a little faster into the turn than Verstappen. He tried to go also around the outside of Verstappen, and that left no room for Hamilton. So there we go. Hamilton literally was just pushed off the track. I
Oh
think
no, it
personally,
wasn't.
hang on,
Oh
I
no,
haven't,
it
I've just,
wasn't.
I know what you're going to say.
Oh no, it wasn't.
I know what you're going to say. So, Hamilton pushed off the track the same way that Verstappen was pushed off the track at Silverstone that time.
Jesus Christ. I mean, not even
No
Hamilton
room.
agrees with you.
I know. That's the funny thing about it.
Yeah,
That's the funny
yeah.
thing about it.
Okay,
But
yeah.
Buster does. So there you go. And I
Hmm.
gave him some treats.
Yeah.
Hey, look, the reason I'm saying this, of course, is because Mercedes should have spoken to their drivers before the start of the race and sorted this out. It was obvious that Hamilton was going to be able to brake later on the outside, and Russell was going for some room, which was clearly going to be taken up. And I know he had every right to do that, but at the same time, if Mercedes had spoken to their drivers, I don't think that would have happened. And I can't believe that they actually did not do it. Hamilton made a mistake and he paid for it, Bub. Yes, I agree. I agree. That's what he said. That's what Toto said. That's what everybody said. However, I actually think that, and like I'm saying, Russell, there was no chance Russell was going to go around the outside, and therefore he could have just given the place to Hamilton and allowed him to have a go. Unfortunately, of course, uh, he didn't, and there we go. That's the thing. He doesn't, and he's got no reason that he should. That's why I think really the onus and the mistake is on the Mercedes team not to have managed this particular problem. Why was Hamilton in third place, which was the better starting side of the grid? Why was he able, or wasn't he able, I should say, to get round the, to have this problem managed for him? I don't know why exactly. Why was he on red tyres? Why was Russell on yellow tyres? Well, I've got a theory about that. Because it's tyre talk here, and that's where we're going to be going. Here it is. So these
Yeah.
were the tyre allocations for all of the drivers. This is all of the tyres that they had available to them. Okay, and as you can see, Hamilton had mainly soft tyres available. He only had one set of medium tyres fresh, one set which is able to do 15 laps, and one set one set completely used, one set able to do 13 laps, and one set able to do 10. As opposed to Russell, who had two
Oh
13s and an 18.
shit.
Okay, so this was why Russell was able to start on the 13 set because he had enough sets at least to do the middle stints, right? And still, he had to do a hard. Everybody at least had one hard available. So clearly, one hard was going to be used. And I think it was this lack of an extra set that Hamilton didn't have, which really made him go soft at the beginning. Again, I don't. I think it was a bad move, definitely to do that. There's no doubt. uh, even at the end of the first lap. I know that, Fabio. I know. Yes, someone's always partial to that. Always, 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 always. I know. I'm going to put up the things because you're all right. Because you're all right. But this is the map. This is the tyre map we're talking about here. This was dictated to by obviously by the FIA because their tyres were unable to deal with the curbs. Again, nice one, Pirelli. Sorry, nice one by Pirelli, of course, showing us that as usual they're not on top of going to the circuits ahead of time and finding out what the hell is going on. So there we go. Okay, not even Hamilton agrees with me. That is correct. At least that's what he said. But I've got it on good authority. That's not the case. Okay, look, let me explain this. Verstappen, look, he has enough mediums for all day. He could have done 2 races and still stayed within the FIA regulations or Pirelli's recommendations. Perez, likewise, a lot. Leclerc, not so much. He only had 2 sets really, which he could use, including the hard tyre, which had to be done. This is why Hamilton decided to go on a new set of softs at the beginning of the race. And this is why it's Mercedes' fault that this happened, that they didn't manage it into turn 1. Because clearly Hamilton was going to beat Russell into the first corner and therefore should have been given priority. Just saying that's how it should have gone down. And this is the reason, because of the tyres left to Hamilton. I think if he'd had an extra set of, or a set of tyres up here at 17 instead of 13, then he would have been able to do it. Or if he'd had another set of tyres here, he would have been able to get away with the medium. Unfortunately, not the case.
I mean, Max Mosley is a dilettante compared to you.
That might be the case, right? But
you just wow. Okay, carry
I'm
on.
just saying. Look, here it is.
Look, okay. Yeah.
Look
right.
at the details.
Yeah.
Look at the heart. Look at how many laps you can get out of these tyres.
Yeah.
If you're Hamilton and you've got a big 0 on one of your sets of tyres, right, then that is really restricting you. These are the tyres used in qualification. He's only got 1 here, and as you can see, Russell.
That's the reason. And that's the reason why he turned into the first corner as if Russell didn't exist. He was probably thinking that Russell should have disappeared.
I think it should have been handled by Mercedes, is what I'm saying.
Yeah.
Okay, so anyway, they turned in, they collided. Hamilton out of the race. Russell span out and went to last place. Other than that, I'm not going to go on too much because obviously I've done my bit here. It's all about the tyres because of this FIA rule. We're disappointed in Pirelli. Are we ever? Fuck, are we ever?
Okay.
This would have been an intro.
Go
ahead.
I'm looking at the data,
Yes.
You know what's an interesting thing I'm noticing right now? So there is a driver which is basically in the same situation as Hamilton. Given less. Actually, is a little bit worse than medium, which is Piastri, which didn't look like he did so bad, isn't it?
Yes, he did very well, yeah.
Yeah. And it was basically the same situation as Hamilton.
Yeah, but he was further back, so he had to start on mediums. Hamilton didn't. He started on softs. Why did he start on softs? Because he had 1 less set of mediums to run.
Which is exactly the same situation as Piastri.
Yeah, no, agreed, but not further back. Like if Piastri had started on the front, he might have decided to try and out-drag Verstappen into the first corner. I mean, my point is, like Hamilton, in his mind, always had that he was going around the outside of Verstappen in the first corner. And I don't understand, to the life of me, why Mercedes didn't just say, all right, if you don't out-drag Verstappen into the turn 1, if you're not alongside him, then get behind him.
So the reason Hamilton turned into Russell was because of Pirelli and the lack of tires that he had. That's what you're telling me.
Because he chose to run a soft set.
Yeah, no. I'm just want to clarify. It's weird. Yeah, okay.
So literally he got a better start from the second row. I mean, he was alongside Verstappen, right? Because he could break a lot later. right? So because he had softer tyres, so there you go.
So yeah.
Anyway, there we go. Hamilton
Okay.
had no choice but to veer
No
into
choice
Russell.
whatsoever. No
That's
choice
not
whatsoever.
exactly what happened, though. That's what my point is, right? My point
Okay.
is Russell was trying to go round the outside of Verstappen, right? And there was no way he was going to be able to do it. Absolutely
Hamilton,
no
you
way.
mean? You mean
No,
Hamilton?
Verstappen.
You mean Hamilton was trying to go around Verstappen?
No, Russell was trying to
Russell
go
was
around the.
behind Verstappen.
No, he wasn't. No,
Oh fuck yeah, he was.
no, no, no.
Jesus
No,
Christ.
if
Okay.
he'd been if he'd been behind him, he would have been no problem at all. But he wasn't. He was coming out from behind Verstappen to go around the outside.
Wow. Okay. Oh, yeah. Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
Yeah. So that was what happened.
Okay.
You know. Yeah. No, I'm looking at the replay, and yeah.
Mm.
Trust me. Like Verstappen, Russell's front wheel was level with Verstappen's rear wheel in that corner. If he'd been behind him, there would have been no problem at all. I think Hamilton would have been able to get round in front of Verstappen, and that's what should have been managed. That's my point. That should have been managed. They should have said to him, "Look, unless you're fully alongside Verstappen, right, then just get behind him."
There is
Mm,
no way that you can make a tactic which works at the first corner. Nobody's ever be able to do that. It
okay,
doesn't exist.
fair enough. Fair enough. Okay, in which case Mercedes really fucked up by starting Hamilton on soft tyre, right? That was just a really stupid strategy error.
Well, okay. Listen, I mean, I don't want to keep going at this point, but it might have been a mistake for whatever reason, even if there were other drivers in the same situation that apparently did not make the same mistake. But
Yeah.
okay, even if I find it really weird that the fact that Hamilton turned into Russell as if it didn't exist, and Hamilton admitted that,
Yes.
and the whole thing it's because of the tires that they had. I'm really struggling with that concept, but I
Right.
will not go it. I mean, I just take your word for it. I'm
Right.
just so you know,
Okay.
I'm really struggling with
Can
that.
I can
Okay.
I mention one thing about the Hamilton crash before you just forget about it completely?
Mm.
It looked to me as if the wheel failed. If you look at the replay, you'll see that the center of the wheel was still bolted onto the hub.
Yeah,
Now,
because
The
you
tyre
see that
failed.
then,
Yeah.
it crashed the external part of the tire, and the other
Yeah.
rim just went away. That's
Yeah.
okay.
right? So the center was left on the hub, and the outside of the wheel headed off down the, the sand trap.
Yeah.
And that's really unusual to see in Formula One. I mean, you see it in the rally cars quite a lot. It's
Yeah.
happened to be in the rally car, but it's not something you see very often in Formula One. Is a wheel separating
Yeah.
in that kind of fashion.
Agreed. So it was Russell's front wheel that hit Lewis's rear wheel, of course.
Yeah.
That was the connection. So yeah, like I'm saying, it's not that I fully accept that Hamilton turned across. Right? There's no doubt about that because Russell was also going for the outside of Verstappen. So that was 2 into 1, don't go, and that's why I'm saying Mercedes should have managed that and said, look, only one of you is going around the outside, right? And it should be Lewis because he's on soft tyres. That's what I'm saying, and there's no reason why that can't be managed, right, perfectly well. Because if Lewis gets to that corner and goes, okay, look, even if I outbrake Russell now, I still can't get around the outside of him if he's at the outside of Verstappen. But the problem was going into the corner, he wasn't on the outside of Verstappen, he was behind him. And then he pulled out in the braking zone to go round the outside, which is fair enough to do, right? Absolutely no problem with Russell here, right? But what I'm saying is Hamilton was doing that regardless, right? So yeah, that accident was always going to happen as soon as Russell went for the outside. Yeah, and I don't think it was that necessarily that Hamilton turned into Russell. It's that Russell was coming out to go around the outside of Verstappen, and that was his right to do that. That's why it's Lewis's mistake, because it's his, like, Hamilton's, it's Russell's right to take that line, not Lewis's. But Lewis was already alongside Russell because he was out braking him due to the fact he had soft tyres, and that's why I think it should have been managed, right? And it could have been managed relatively easily. So I'm just saying, it's a big fuck up by Mercedes. It's a big fuck up by Lewis.
Lord.
It's a big fuck up, really, by Russell, in the sense that he could have won the race, and he could have won the race by letting Lewis go ahead. Right? There was never a chance that he couldn't get by. Hey Tux, good to see you. Thank you so much for stopping by. Please remember to like and subscribe and all the good stuff. Your questions are way above my pay grade. Okay. Okay. Thank you very much, guys. Appreciate that. Okay, so that's what I'm saying here. Basically, it's not that I think that Russell made the mistake or anything like that, and Lewis is blame free. That's not the point. Yeah, clearly, Lewis didn't need to make such a risky move in turn one, and if he hadn't have done, he would have finished third, no doubt about it. So I'm just saying, it's a big fuck up by both drivers. But I think Russell might have won the race if Lewis had been able to go ahead there, if he'd managed to get past Verstappen. And if he didn't get past Verstappen, then Russell probably would have definitely got by him anyway, because he had better tyres. So there you go. I think normally, just like Russell at the end went on soft tyres and lost pace and couldn't catch Lando. Exactly the same thing would have happened to Lewis at the beginning of the race. So that's my point anyway. I mean, why they put him out on softs in the first place, I've got no fucking idea, but there you go. Okay, so that's the big thing of the race out the way with, hopefully. I know you disagree. That's great. When it gets to your bit, just tell me again how wrong I am, and we'll leave it there. Okay, thank you. Is there anything else on this map other than Bottas? Look at Bottas. He did remarkably well, actually, having to take 2 hards and one medium. He stopped 3 times, I think. So good job by him, especially. And then there's a few other little bits and pieces. Okay, let's move on. So yeah, that was the big controversy in turn 1. That really fucked up Alonso as well, by the way, that little crash. And
We haven't got past turn 1 yet.
I beg your pardon?
I said we haven't got past turn 1 yet.
No, we haven't got past turn 1. We haven't got past turn 1. Yeah, I mean, it definitely, it's kind of weird, that crash, because, like I'm saying, I mean, Russell was definitely entitled to be there, no doubt. Why Verstappen was so slow in the first corner, I don't know, because even Russell was struggling to slow down to not go into the back of him as well. So,
would you like my opinion?
There was a couple of things. Yeah, go ahead. Yeah, while we're here.
Hamilton and Russell both seem to be trying to get the same slipstream off the back of Verstappen. It wasn't going to work, and I just can't see what Hamilton's logic was, to be honest. And to put an end to it, maybe Hamilton even admitted post-race it was his fault. He was clearly to blame. So take from that what you will. And that's my opinion.
Yeah. Okay. Thank you. No problem with that. Okay. So, yeah. Hulkenberg lined up in the wrong space. He got a 5-second or 10-second for that. And another thing I want to moan about, actually, because I'm just going to moan in this one now. Why are they getting 10-second penalties for lining up in the wrong space or some grid penalty, and yet they only get a 5-second penalty for running somebody off the road? Is that right, or going off the road? I mean, I don't know. Does it make sense? Anybody? Tell me that.
Penalties. I think they've got penalties all written down on a little piece of paper, and they put it in a hat, and then just pick one out at random and apply it. That seems to be the FIA's way of dishing out penalties.
Yeah. Bob says maybe Hamilton could take a clue from Verstappen to stay out of trouble in the first corner. Thank you, Bob. We should be so lucky. Hey, lucky.
Hey,
Okay.
lucky.
Yeah, yeah. So there we go. So look, the race went on. I'm just going to cut to the end because I've been far too long already, just on this one point, which really bugged me. It was all about tyres. All about tyres. Mercedes, I mean the Ferrari once again hard on its tyres showed that Leclerc really struggling, I feel, but still got a good race result with fifth, I think. Um, there was some excellent racing by young Lawson, I felt, and also Yuki Tsunoda with the Hasses. Hulkenberg and Magnus did well. Uh, there was a terrible crash with Ocon, Alonso, and somebody else. Can't remember who. Lawson, I think it was, where Ocon did exactly what you guys are saying Hamilton did, which was basically just drive into somebody. But there we go. And then it finished. I'm not going to go into details. It was a very scrappy race in general, very difficult for everybody. Logan, well, I'll leave that. Uh, and then basically, yeah. So we get to the end. I'm just going to go skip straight to the end. Verstappen first, Piastri, Norris, Russell, amazing fourth, but finished 34 seconds behind. When he pitted, he came out 5 seconds behind on soft tyres for the last few laps and somehow managed to go off the track several times and lose 20 odd seconds. Charles Leclerc, the pacey pastry, did well to come home in fifth place, considering to the tyre where he had. Alonso in sixth, really did a great race considering he was in the wars several times. Excuse me. Ocon seventh, Bottas eighth, great race by him. Jean ninth, uh, Sergio Perez 10th. Wasn't to stay that way, was it? Let's hope not, because I've only got the classifications after the race here. Perez couldn't stay within the limits of the track and was given two penalties. He was told on no uncertain terms that was probably going to hurt his race. And you know what? I think they were right. I think the team were right. Probably did hurt his race. Anyway, there we go. That's my roundup. I'm going to pass it over to Fabio and I'm going to shut the fuck up now. Okay.
Yeah, I mean it was an interesting race, as I said before. The For all the wrong reasons. The main culprit was the fact that on I can't remember if it was on no it was on Friday they decided to reduce the width of the track some ways. That brought a lot of people having problem with track limits, both in qualifying and in races. They also had a lot of issues with with how the curbs were actually built. It seems to be that they were like really pointy, triangularly shaped. And that was because they redid it recently. Uh, that brought some issues with the tires. Pirelli found there was some lesions on the tires, and that started the whole thing of tires not. They advised the FIA to have the tires not make more than 18 laps because of basically all the curbs and yeah, basically, but the main reason was because of the curbs. So that was a safety issue. All the teams agreed on that, so that is a known issue. It actually made the race a little bit more interesting because it took out one variable, which is the tires and the tire management and all that shit. So basically, what happened is that because of the fact that uh, uh, all the drivers knew that the tires had a set amount of life into that. They all push, and that is a testament that is being proven by the fact that there were a lot of fast laps by various drivers through the race. Everybody was racing, really fast with no concern about time management, except maybe if you had to put the soft tires. It turned out even the sprint race that they were not as they didn't last as much as they thought it would have been. But yeah, other than that, I think it was really interesting for all the wrong reasons. The 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 fact that they had to reduce the width of the track in some parts, and because the curbs, it might, it's not sure, but it might have been also the cause why Carlos Sainz didn't start. Carlos Sainz had a problem with the fuel lines. They tried to fix it, and then they put back the system in pressure and saw that there was still leaking, and the leak was in the gearbox area. So they basically had to dismantle the old car. They had no time, so Carlos Sainz was forced not to race in the race. So, and again, it's not certain, but it might have been because of the curbs too. It wasn't only a problem with the tires; the floor were damaged, and it was quite of a disaster. The other thing which made the race kind of peculiar is the fact that the conditions that the race was held. There was a lot of heat, kind of a lot of humidity, which nobody really expected in the desert, but it was, I think, 58%, which is a lot over there. And so we saw some things that we usually never see, at least we haven't seen since the 80s or 90s, which is the drivers physically suffering the race. We saw Lando Norris and even George Russell taking away the hands from the steering wheel in the straight at like 200 miles an hour, 200, 60 kilometers an hour, just to get some fresh air inside. Alonso complaining about the fact that the seat was really hot, and he asked if they could pour some water in the pit stop on him because the seat was really hot. There was no air circulation. And, people like Sargent, which even if we have all made jokes about Sargent, actually there is one thing we got to say, that he's one of the fittest athletes in F1. I mean, if you look at the guy, he's really he takes his job really seriously,
Hmm. Not not
regardless.
not the only one as well.
Yeah.
Ocon and
No, no, yeah, no.
and
I was
hang on,
just
hang on, hang on. Ocon and Albon had to be helped out of their car as well. So there's
Yeah,
that.
I was just pointing out because it was the first to drop out. He literally have to pull out because he couldn't make it. Uh, Ocon, at the end of it was shown on the floor. There was another driver. I think Stroll at the end of the race went straight to the ambulance, out of the car and straight to the ambulance. So that was really, really something that we haven't seen again, since the 80s or the 90s, where there was a lot of effort from the drivers, and of course there weren't as much of good athletes as they are now. They had no steering assist, so the car were more physical. So that was the last time I remember seeing the drivers really being affected by the driving conditions, as what happened last Sunday. There is another thing I want to say about this fact, because again it really struck me. It was really weird. There is one thing I think a big difference between these cars and the cars in the 80s and the 90s. It seems to be, I don't know if it's because of the halo, because of the fact that the drivers are more into the car rather than in the 90s, but it looks like that there is way less air circulation in the cockpit compared to, I don't know, cars like I don't know, Williams or Leighton House, or the old Ferraris in the 90s. It seems to me there is way less air circulating in the cockpit. So that might have been one factor that um, was brought into play on Sunday. I mean, I can't remember the last time I saw a driver getting into to change the tires and actually taking the visor of the helmet off, to get some air. I can't remember that ever happened, for a long time. So yeah, the conditions were, well, I would say problematic, but were really extreme for a lot of drivers, and the people in the pit lane too. I've had news of the doctors and the ambulances, running not only to the drivers but also to the mechanics. A lot of them had some issues. So yeah, that is something which, I mean, it was, well, I wouldn't say fun to watch. It was peculiar to watch, but it also raises the question: why the fuck do we run in those places in certain time of the year? It's beyond me.
Yeah,
I can't
I'll
understand that.
just say something quickly here, if I may, which is to say, Bert Mylander didn't have a problem. He's probably the oldest driver out there, and he didn't have a problem. So just to say that.
I think it was the only one with a car with air condition.
Oh yeah, no, he
I,
has air conditioning as well. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, I think
I
that
think
might
Aston Martin
be
do
the
a good
reason.
air
I'm
conditioning.
not really sure about that, but I think that might be a
Also,
very good reason.
another one of the older drivers didn't suffer at all because he's super fit, and that was Hamilton.
No, I'm not saying that everybody. Yeah. Well, Hamilton was suffering for a lot of other reasons, if you ask me. And by the way,
True.
before I forget, can I just say the most fantastic thing I've ever seen in the race since, for a long time? Toto Wolff wasn't at the pits, right? And regardless,
He wasn't at the
he
circuit. Yeah.
he wasn't at the circuit at all. Regardless, when Russell was complaining about Hamilton driving into him and all that shit, at a certain point we can hear Toto Wolff talking to Russell, and what
Yeah.
actually happened, it was on the phone from his house, right? And
Yeah.
he
Yeah.
put it in contact with the car and talking to Russell. So anybody which says that, I know there has been a lot of rumors about the fact that Mercedes are not really good cars and their Bluetooth and infotainment system is kind of shit. At least in the F1 car, the Bluetooth works really, really, really good.
Oh, very good point. Okay, I'm going to pass this over now to our resident non-expert. Okay, which is Lucky for the reportage de la Sergent Laurent Sergent. Oui, oui.
And Le Sarge, a terrible weekend for Logan Sargent. As aforementioned, helped out of the car at the end of the race, but we'll come to that. Shootout qualifying, couldn't post a time because he couldn't keep the car on the track. Started last, which is somewhere he's no stranger to being. He then binned it on lap 3 in the actual sprint race itself. So not much running for Logan. For the race itself, he managed to get to 16th in qualifying. However, he seemed to be the one who was most affected by the adverse heat conditions in Qatar, and stopped on lap 40. Was helped from the car, and hopefully is rehydrated and doing better now. So it was a complete disaster for Mr. Sergent this weekend in Qatar. But don't worry, because there's only, 5 more to go, and then we'll see the back of him.
Yeah.
Moving on.
Yeah. And
Moving
I
on.
mean, and let's not worry about Sir John, because he only got what 4 or 5 races left, and then eventually we get rid of the guy. Good luck to him.
It's going to be the end.
Yeah.
Back to Indy cars for Logan. And we'll maybe get another crap American driver in there. Okay, I'm gonna the race. I've given you my opinion on the Hamilton incident, but let's speak about.
Lucky, you're really cutting up quite badly now. I don't know what to do exactly.
Neither
So
do I.
try again now. Try now. I've put you onto small screen. Maybe that'll help.
Okay. How's that sound?
Okay, just keep your voice down a little bit. Yeah,
Yeah.
whisper a little bit.
Whisper a little bit. Okay.
Yeah.
The aforementioned Hamilton. Russell
No,
incident.
you've gone back up in volume again.
Yeah.
Keep your volume down.
Right. Okay. What are we talking? Yeah, Russell last at the end of the first lap, got himself fairly well up in the packet by the end of the race, did he not? A drive of the day, I would have suggested. Yes? No?
No, driver of the day was definitely Piastri. I mean, there is no question about it. There is.
Okay,
I mean,
fair enough.
Yeah.
I'm not going to argue. Russell was my driver of the day. Perez, I think Hulkenberg probably went and found Perez in the pits after the sprint race and fucking knocked him out, because I would have. Let's be honest. But let's talk about what actually happened this weekend. I'll give you a list of drivers, gentlemen. Okay, Juan Manuel Fangio, Jack Brabham, Jackie, I'm dyslexic, Stewart, Nelson Piquet, Niki Lauda, Ayrton Senna, Alan Prost, Michael Schumacher, Sebastian Vettel, and Lewis Hamilton. Now, there's another name to go onto that list, and that's Max Verstappen. I just can't see this. I can't see this. These are all three-time champions. Okay? We've now got Max Verstappen as a three-times champion, but I wouldn't rate Verstappen with any of those drivers. I wouldn't put him on the list with any of those drivers. But that's
I'm sorry interrupting you. Hold on a second, because I think Max Verstappen is a fucking brilliant driver, right? But if we had to put with some people, we should put with people which won 3 world championships. So
all those people I mentioned won 3 world championships.
Well, yeah, but I mean, Lewis Hamilton and Michael Schumacher won more than 3 championships. So you see what I'm saying, right?
All right, sure, okay.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Okay,
absolutely. Vettel won 4, of course.
Yeah.
Prost, is it 4 for Prost or 5? I can't remember. 4, I think.
I can't remember 4.
Anyway, look, the point is, I have to disagree. I mean, I don't like Verstappen for multiple reasons, mainly his dad. But he is a tremendous driver. He has driven in the last 2 seasons, not just better than anybody else.
Mm-hmm.
He's made fewer mistakes than anybody else. He's had more car control than anybody else. He's done more overtakes as what I would call in a decisive and aggressive manner than anybody else that I've seen for a long time. Not since 2016 with Russell Hamilton. Go ahead, Fabio.
No, I just want to point out, and I know it's really funny. I mean, we've been talking about an hour now, and I know that Lucky as well. He didn't mention it, but he implied that. I just realized that we've been talking for an hour, and nobody has said clearly that Max Verstappen won the World Championship last Saturday.
Yeah.
I know. I mean, it's really technical. I know everybody knows that, but it's really funny that nobody mentioned it so far. So I just realized it.
Yeah. I mean, for me, obviously, like he's mentioning it now, and that's great. It needed to be said because it is true. But
Yeah.
I don't think it's spectacular news. I don't,
Well,
because
but
he
still,
obviously he'd actually won it like I don't know 3 or 4 races ago. We know how useless Perez is, and we know that unless he crashed every single race, he was going to win it. So
I've,
If
I've got
not
if I
really that
if I had
interested in
said
the
if I
actual
had said
moment.
if I had
I've
said
got a couple of interesting stats. If I can,
Mm.
just 2 minutes. But yeah, go ahead, Lucky.
if I was to say to you at the end of the last race of the 2021 season that Max Verstappen was a deserving world champion, would you agree with me?
The 2021, no, I
Yeah.
wouldn't.
Right. There you go. If I said to you last year, Max Verstappen became world champion, even though his team broke a fundamental rule of the championship, which was
Yeah,
the cost cap, would you still say that he was a deserving world champion?
yeah, I would. Yeah, 22 and 23, I would give to Verstappen. I would. The same
Well,
way I gave it.
There
he's,
is no
Exactly the same
he's,
way
denying.
I gave it. Same way I gave it to Schumacher when, Ferrari had the front wheel covers for 6 months before everybody else.
his team still
The,
broke the rules.
Listen,
Now,
there
I'm
is
playing
no.
devil's advocate here, obviously,
I know,
but
I know,
I
I
mean,
know.
people are going to be saying that Max Verstappen, 3 times champion, once legitimately, and that would be this year.
No, I totally disagree. I'm sorry. I
It's what
don't.
people are saying, Fabio, and
Well,
and
listen,
I
people,
agree partially,
the,
but not
listen,
fully.
there is some people say that the Earth is flat. That doesn't make them right. So fuck people. I don't care.
That's,
Yeah, look,
that's why
when
I'm discussing it.
Listen, this year alone, and I think that redeems even whatever the fuck people think about the previous years. This year alone, Max Verstappen has made more points than the last 5 teams combined. If you go in the constructor championship and you take the last 5 teams, so from 6th to 10th, and I'm talking about team, not drivers, Max Verstappen has more points than all of them together.
sure,
Uh,
Since the I'll give you another stat. Since
okay,
the polls that we had, this summer, Max Verstappen made 119 points. Okay, Lando Norris, and this is something that we might have talked about. We just said it on sideways about the great return of McLaren. Lando Norris made 67. Sorry, Carlos Sainz made 61. Oscar Piastri 49, Lewis Hamilton 46, Leclerc 46, Perez 35. Alonso 34, Russell 33. So Verstappen made 119 points since the summer break, which is as much as Lando Norris and Carlos Sainz had made combined, or if you want people like Piastri, Hamilton, and Leclerc combined, approximately, or you can take Leclerc, Perez, Alonso, and Russell combined. Gasly made 24. It is a fucking steamroller.
yeah,
how many points
okay.
did
There's
So
Sargent
Serjan
zero.
is not. We're talking about drivers,
Yeah,
right?
look,
We're
look.
not.
I just sorry. I want to go back to what I was saying before it started. Verstappen has driven virtually flawlessly this
Yeah.
season,
Yes.
completely flawlessly. He's made less mistakes and he's made more aggressive overtakes without making mistakes. Okay, than anybody else. Other people have done them. Lewis today, right? Lewis yesterday, rather. Huge mistake trying to be aggressive, going around the outside. As he said, fucked up big time, right? That's a direct quote, by the way, from his dog.
and and he was pissed in Singapore where he didn't have a
Yeah,
great race. He was still pissed.
yeah. Yeah,
I
of course,
mean,
of course. This is his attitude of Gate, right?
yeah,
He doesn't want to get beaten by his dad. But
no
nonetheless,
prisoners. Yeah,
yeah, nonetheless, what we're saying is he fully is deserving. Certainly this year, I think last year as well. Even though they broke the cost cap, that's on the team, right? You can only drive what you're given, and
right.
history will say he has 3 world championships, right?
Yeah,
Everybody's racist nowadays. Don't worry. If I enjoy race, does
Well,
that make me racist? Yeah, fair enough.
yeah,
Sorry, Gio. Welcome, Gio. If I enjoy a race, he says, does that make me racist? Yes, it does. Yes, it certainly does.
yes.
Okay. Anyway, so look, I'm just saying this about it. I obviously disagree with 21 because that was a contrived championship, but it's at least contrived not by Verstappen, right? It was contrived by circumstances outside. It's not like, I don't know, 95, was it, with the win into Damon, or was that 94? 94, I think, when
four.
Schumacher drove into Damon Hill.
Yeah, 94.
So, just saying that's a different kind of contrived win, right?
There is a ambulance coming. Hold on a second.
I can hear it. I can hear it.
Yeah,
And it's needed because I'm
yeah.
hot. I'm hot here. I'm
It's the
hot under the collar.
ambulance.
You've all been disagreeing with me.
Wow, wow,
Okay.
wow.
There we go.
I'm, I'm,
Okay.
I'm not disagreeing with you guys at all. All I'm doing
No,
is
that's
playing
fine. That's
devil's
absolutely
advocate here.
fine. Yeah. No, thank you for doing
Agreed.
so as well.
The 2023 World Championship was Max Verstappen's, and there's no way you could argue that unless we find out something at the end of the year that the
Yeah.
car
It
was
doesn't matter. No. The only thing that
Yeah.
matters is the name, which is in the books.
Yeah. At the end
That
of the
is
day,
the only thing that matters. And if you think that's not true, you can ask Felipe Massa about that.
Whoa.
the end of the day,
Spicy.
his
Spicy.
name is on the trophy 3 times.
Yeah. And you think I'm about Schumacher.
No,
Whoa.
no, no. I mean, I don't care about
No,
Massa.
no.
Fuck it.
I hear
Yeah,
what
I
you're
don't care.
saying. I hear what you're saying.
I think it's hilarious, but
Yeah.
and I also think he has a good point, right?
I know you
Still,
do. I know you do.
yeah, but still, it doesn't matter. If
Yes,
you ask
yes.
me who won the world championship that year, Lewis Hamilton. There is no question about it. And the reason why I know that is because I take the book, I read the name, and that's the name which is written on the book.
Yeah,
That's
absolutely.
it. There is no other question about it. And that's why, and I get a little bit, philosophical here. That's why motorsports are so good. Because at the end of the day, the only thing which matters is the stopwatch. Nothing else matters. It doesn't matter how you do it, why you do it, whatever the fuck you do it. The only thing that matters is the stopwatch. Everything else is up for discussion, but nobody will take away what you did with the stopwatch on the track. That's it.
All right. Yep. Fair enough. I completely agree as well. I mean, nothing else can be said. That's the name that gets inscribed on the trophy,
Yeah.
as you say. That's what people will remember them by. And I certainly will say that Michael Schumacher is a 7-time world champion, despite the fact he got 3 of them by dodgy means. 3 of them, mind you. But there you go. 3 of them.
Let's say, even if you say all 7 of them,
No, it
doesn't
wasn't all
fucking
7.
matter. Yeah.
Wasn't all 7. No. It was just 3 that he drove into somebody or
There might be another ambulance coming.
just
Hold on a
treated.
second.
Yeah, I hope there is because I'm getting really stressed here.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay,
Anyway, Lucky.
let's go to the last part of the show.
Yeah. No. Lucky. Do you have anything else you want to say
Well,
about the
I
race
think we
or
covered this
anything else?
earlier in the year in the Formula One myth section, where I said it is a myth. Sorry, it's not a myth that Michael Schumacher was a cheating bastard. So there you go.
Shit, man,
What else? What else can we say?
This guy, I mean, I'm with a Scottish which can't talk for the sake of it. Nobody understands what the fuck. Not even this fucking microphone understands what the fuck he's saying. There is another salty guy which is still back in. I mean, why the fuck am I here? I've been here for 10 years. Jesus Christ, you know.
Has it been that long?
If I think so, I don't know, 7 maybe. But if anybody fucking deserves a fucking medal, it's fucking me, you know. And I'm
Yeah.
listening to
I know.
this shit.
I know.
Year on.
All I can say is typical Ferrari supporter. I think they deserve a medal for
Holy
what?
crap,
For coming second forever.
Jesus
Okay.
Christ.
Look, there we go.
Let's
Okay.
Let's see how smart he is when we get to the question later on.
Yeah. Sorry. What did you ask?
I'm
Sorry,
not smart.
Lucky?
Listen, you know, I'm here with a guy which is rooting for. So one guy is rooting for Logan fucking Sargent, right? And the other guy is a Williams fan, and I don't know why. I mean, really. I mean, just put the things in perspective for fuck's sake. No? I mean, the other guy, at least the other guy was just bowling like a fucking hyena. He has been going on for like 20 minutes about the fact that Hamilton drove into somebody and the fault was the tires and Mercedes. Jesus Christ, really? Give me a fucking break, you guys. Okay, carry on.
Get that fucking ambulance. I need it now for laughing.
I mean, really?
Oh my
carry
God.
on.
Okay.
Moving on.
Moving on. Lucky, is there
Yeah.
anything else you want to say about the race before we move on?
I honestly can't remember. To be
Okay,
honest.
thank you so much. You're correct
It was
though,
a
Lucky.
race.
3 times
Verstappen
world
won.
champion Verstappen. Congratulations. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh,
Oh
see
dear.
what I was going to mention, just very briefly, do we blame Pirelli or do we blame the FIA
Fuck
stroke
me.
Liberty Media
Yeah.
for going to tracks that are not Formula One tracks? Qatar's a MotoGP track. It was never originally an F1 track. Is it Pirelli's fault that they've got so many different tracks that they've got to cover, or is it something else? Whatever you guys think, I don't know.
It's a good point, actually. It's a good point. They do have a lot more tracks than they had when they first came into the sport, and these are new curbs, right? They were replaced last year after complaints about the curbs. These are supposed to be better curves, and clearly they're not. They're worse. So I personally, I think Pirelli needs to go and vet the circuits before they get there. We found this out from Indianapolis in whatever it was, 2004 or something. 2005 was it? 2005. And it's still happening today. So there you go. Almost 20 years later.
Yeah, I mean, it wasn't Pirelli's fault because it's not the job of Pirelli to vet the tracks. So that is the short version of my answer.
Okay, thank you. Okay, so there we go. Another disagreement. We've had a lot of them today, haven't we? That's wonderful. It's wonderful, wonderful. Okay, thank you very much. All I can say is Fogeri. Sounds like it's rude, but it's not. So there we go. Okay. So now we're going to pass on to the last section of the show. I'm just going to do the intro music for you. Let me get the tape lined up and let me get the jingle out. Yeah. Okay, here we go. Quiz or myth? Myth or quiz? Quiz or myth? What is it? A myth or a quiz? Lucky, is it a quiz or a myth? Or both?
It's a myth-ish, but it's not really a myth. It's a funny moment in Formula One we're going to go with this week, as things have been hilarious so far. You'll see I've put a link up in the chat there, Simus. If we can play that just in a second.
Okay, give me a second. I'm just going to have to line it up in the right place. Yeah, I remember this as well. Okay, so just give me a wee moment.
Now, I was considering making a joke about who had the most brain damage now and before, but we won't. We'll go on to this little video.
3 minutes.
This is
3 minutes. What's happening with Ralph's car? It's up in the air. Ralph Schumacher still up on jacks. The mechanics had to get off in that 15-second period, otherwise he'll get a stop and go. But he'll start from the back of the grid. He's still on the jacks. They've got the synchronization of the procedure wrong.
But what happened was all mechanics left the grid. Even Ralph didn't realise that he was still 6 inches up in the air. And believe it or not, Ferrari mechanics were whistling and waving at them, telling them, hey, your man's still up on the jacks, he can't start.
And there we go.
Here we go. Oops.
There we go.
Oops.
Funny.
Williams.
Yeah, no, I remember it well.
2001 at Spa.
Professional
As
team,
you all
Williams,
saw
by the way.
here.
Did I ever said that?
Very
Professional
good.
team. That was when they had a BMW engine, and they paid a fortune for it, and they were rumored to be going to do really well. They did. Montoya did very well. I think he won, didn't he, a championship in it? But it took a few years to get that thing to work properly. Oof. Anyway, go ahead.
That's what happens when you don't pay attention. Your driver gets left in the jacks at the start of the formation lap and has to start back.
There we go.
So there we go. Funny moments in Formula One. Ralph Schumacher at the start of the
Yeah.
2001 Belgian Grand Prix.
Of course, Ralph Schumacher, famous for his first word in global television being a swear word. Go ahead.
Famous for coming second to Damon Hill at 1998.
That he did that as
Wow.
well. Yeah, he did that as well.
Famous. The one time Damon Hill absolutely showed some balls in Formula One. Anyway, today's trivia question. Now, as I mentioned earlier, if you look at my avatar on the screen there, you'll see a car, which is a model of a car, and that is a clue for today's question. Okay.
Yeah.
Now,
Okay.
this is going to be an up to 3 points to be gained question, which could put Fabio in the lead if he gets it on the first pair of drivers. And that's the first pair of drivers.
I mean, it could put him in the lead if we're the one that gives two fucks about it. But yeah, carry on.
And after that interruption there, I think I'll be looking for some unsporting-like conduct penalties shortly.
Yeah.
There.
Okay.
Yeah. Right. So we've got today 6 drivers. Okay. These 6 drivers are all world champions. And they also have another thing in common. Now, I'm going to give you the names in pairs. And these are going to be from the oldest to the newest. Okay. In order. So they've got something in common. All these 6 drivers. The first pair of drivers are going to be Jack Brabham and John Surtees. Brabham, of course, champion with Brabham, and Surtees champion with Ferrari. 66, I believe, Brabham and John Surtees, I can't remember. However, both world champions that have something in common.
Okay. And that's for 3 points if we guess this, right? Was that it?
Three off the first pair, yeah.
I have no idea. I mean,
now remember,
hang on, no clues. 3 points. Go ahead, Fabio. You said the question.
No. I was just saying, Surtees obviously raced motorcycles. I'm thinking Brabham did it, so that can't be the case.
Yeah, I would say it probably is the case. I think Brabham used to race motorcycles in Australia.
Did he? Okay, yeah. So
hold on, guys. Before you go any further, remember that you've got 6 champions here, okay, and they've all got one thing in common. So even though John and Jack both rode motorcycles, the rest of them may not have. So it's something that all these drivers are going to have in common.
Okay. Let's just slow down on this because this is for 3 points. So it's a big moment in the championship between us. Okay, Fabio. Go ahead. If you can, just take a guess at something, and then I'll guess at something, and then we'll move on to the next ones. All right. Go ahead.
No, yeah. I mean,
just guess something. Guess something. Anything. Don't matter.
I don't know.
Remember the clue? Remember the clue in the picture?
They all had the same number.
No.
No.
Okay. Clues in the picture. I would say
They were driving a car.
they were all in it. I don't know. I mean, they all see. I think they were all works teams. Maybe they all won their championships in works. The first championship in works teams.
Is the wrong answer.
Okay.
However, you're getting along the right lines. Okay, that's all I'll say.
Thank you.
Okay,
So the next two.
The second pair.
Yep.
We're talking 1973 with Graham Hill, and 1975 with Emerson Fittipaldi.
Okay, now hold on a second. I might have something. They all built at a certain point. They all built a car. They were constructors.
Yeah, you got it. Well done. Good job. So you get 2 points. You're on 14 all.
There we go.
Excellent. Excellent. Yes.
So, who were the last two? Just out of interest.
The last two were going to be Jackie, I'm dyslexic, Stewart, and Alain Prost, who both started teams in 1997. Although Jackie was not supposed to be in charge. Paul Stewart, his son, was supposed to be in charge, but everybody knows it was Jackie's team.
Yeah. And Prost had the Lamborghini engine, which was supposed to go on Senna's McLaren car at the time.
Uh-huh.
But I got a quiz for you, Lucky.
Oh no.
Yeah, because
although my computer's playing up.
Yeah, fuck you. Yeah. So,
gotta walk the dog. Hang on.
So we mentioned before that I'm gonna try because I know the answer. I'm trying to build the question. Okay.
Okay.
So we know that Max Verstappen won the World Championship, and he won it on Saturday.
Who was the last driver to win on a Saturday? Oh,
what?
Jesus Christ.
Yeah. Who else won his world titles on Saturday? Sorry, not on Sunday. Let me put it this way.
Oh, yes. Okay.
Yeah.
That's interesting. Yeah. Okay.
And I give you a clue. And I give you a clue. The clue is Max Verstappen.
Wow, really?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, of course. 2021.
What?
2021.
No. Yeah, no.
Okay. 22? What?
No. Who else didn't win his world championship on a Sunday?
Oh, didn't win?
Yeah.
Didn't win.
Didn't win on a Sunday as Verstappen did. Verstappen won it on a Saturday, right?
Yeah.
Who else didn't win his world championship with a plural,
right?
Not on a Sunday?
And the clue didn't win it, not on a Sunday.
Yeah.
I don't understand the double negative here. So you're asking who has only won on a Sunday?
No. I'm asking who else won his world championship, and you might add a plural into that because it's more than one, not on a Sunday.
Well, I don't know. And you say it is Max Verstappen.
No. Max Verstappen is one. Who else?
Okay. Now I'm with you. Okay, who else?
Yeah. And the clue is Max Verstappen.
Oh, the clue is Max Verstappen.
Yeah.
So a Dutch driver, is that what was
Well,
saying?
it can't be a Dutch driver. There's never be a Dutch
I'll give you
champion.
another clue. I'll give you another
Yeah.
clue. This driver that we're talking about didn't win his world championships on a Sunday, and he has 3 world championships. None of them were won on a Sunday.
Don't know. Maybe Senna,
Nope. Nope.
because he had crashes to win both his titles.
Keke
Well, but
Rosberg.
it was on Sunday anyway, so he won it on a Sunday.
Keke Rosberg.
Nope.
Oh, it was double champions, you said, didn't you?
This is triple champion, you said, did you? Oh, is a double champion.
Yeah, yeah. Maybe I said too much. It's more than one. It's more than one.
It's more than one. Okay.
Yeah.
No,
must-
not him.
it's
Not him.
70s, isn't it? 70s or 80s.
Okay. Who? Okay. I just basically saying it to you.
Yeah.
Who is Max Verstappen' girlfriend?
Piqué. Piqué's daughter.
PK.
Piqué never won a world championship on a Sunday. He won twice on a Saturday and once on a Friday.
I had no idea about that.
Yeah.
Wow. Okay.
I think he won. Now I'm going by memory here, but I think the 2 ones he won on a Saturday were because they were racing on a Saturday, and the one he won on a Friday was because I think Mansell crashed on Friday qualifying or whatever, so it was basically world champions.
Oh, I
He
see.
never won a world championship on a Sunday.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah.
I remember them
I
racing
was-
in Adelaide,
I-
and Mansell
was
crashed
told-
out. And...
I-
Okay.
Sorry, I'm close with Rosberg because it was Rosberg was the person that did it before Piqué.
Okay, interesting. Okay, I did not know that.
Yeah,
Well, we're
there you
going to
go.
leave it on that bombshell, everybody, because that is an amazing bombshell. I want to thank everybody, Gio, Sam, Bob, Elvis. Thank you for being here. We really appreciate it. Thank you for the likes,
By the
etc.
way, the clue in the picture, which I better mention before we finish, that's what a Surtees. It's a Matchbox model. If you remember, Matchbox sponsored Surtees in Formula One, and that is one of the Matchbox Surtees Formula One cars.
There we go.
Hmm.
Right,
So,
well,
by
I'm
the
just
way,
going to play the
the
music.
points are 14, and that was a brilliant guess by
My
Fabio.
crack says it's time to finish the show. Thank you very much. Bye-bye.
See ya.
Ciao.
Okay. There's the fucking thing. I don't know
I
where the
don't know.
outro is even. There you go.